Hello there and welcome to the annual Fastmarkets Middle East Iron and Steel event. I'm Georgia Tolley. We are here with our live lounge and I'm delighted to say that joining us today is Vahid Fouladkar. He is the co-founder and CEO of Metal Park and he really is considered something of a visionary in his industry. He represents the fifth generation of his family's legacy in metals, and Vahid has actually introduced pioneering solutions, including the innovative assets as a service model that's actually reshaping the metal downstream sector. His leadership has propelled Metal Park into a model of sustainability, technology, and excellence in the industry. Vahid, it's an absolute pleasure to have you join us on the show. Good morning.
Good morning to you. Thank you very much for inviting.
Well, it's lovely to have you here, and you've had a really impressive journey so far in the metal sector, ahead of your current role at Metal Park. Could you share some of the key moments or decisions that have shaped your career so far?
In fact, in our generation, we mainly we're trading. I mean, we do trading. It's family business. But I remember those days which my grandfather or my father was telling me that the trading benefit is that you can stop anytime you want, and you can, close your shop and then come back after a few days and again open it and do that. But you cannot do that in manufacturing and also in an industry. So that was one of also a trigger to set up such a agile solution where the fabricator or manufacturer can be flexible and can be adapt themselves with the market dynamics.
So you were looking ultimately for flexibility in the sector?
Yes, flexibility and agility to adapt themselves with the market fluctuations.
And so Metal Park is in many ways a really unique concept. Can you tell us a bit more about the initial vision behind it? You know, what actually inspired the creation, and then of course the challenges that you've faced along the way?
Metal industry is too traditional, for many years, and I can say that trading became more tough and tough, I didn't see those value when I was seeing my father or my grandfather times where the people trading and collaborating together. So the vision behind Metal Park is more, creating an area for collaborations, bring those, let's say, supportive area where everybody can put together their value and gain more, and everybody can take piece of that. And at the end of the day, you see everybody happy and winning as per their knowledge and based on what they do.
You've mentioned sort of 2 or 3 times already your father and your grandfather. I'm really interested in this idea of a sort of generations working within the metal industry. I've done, I've worked in lots of different sectors, or at least I've interviewed people from lots of different sectors. And I don't think I've ever seen such a sort of a generational atmosphere as there is within the metals industry. It's like your grandfather goes in and that's it. For everyone, from then on, you're all going to just work in the same sector. Was there ever any doubt in your mind that you would go into the same family business?
At one point of my time, for 1 or 2 years, I tried to, look after other businesses, but I find out that there is more opportunity in metal industry. Metal industry has a lots of, let's say, bugs to solve it, and especially in downstream and in supply chain. And I'm enjoying what I'm doing is what I have experienced for the last 20 years. And what we are doing these days is what really enjoyable and boosting our energy every time when we are doing.
You're a long-standing member of the UAE Metal Committee, and obviously very active, as you've just said, in the sort of metal value chain. What do you think are the sort of key components for transforming the global supply chain? Because it is such a global market now.
UAE is also following the same trend of the other markets, but the good things here, the technology and AI is adding to this value, and the way the government is investing on those infrastructure will help to speed up over the other countries and continents for in the same segment. UAE, what we do in supply chain is to some extent happen other places, but putting everything under one roof in metal parks and adding to the technology and AI on top of that, it's with the way we think that the things has to be transformed in the supply chain.
How are you using artificial intelligence in your sector? Because it's such a buzzword now. Everyone's like, "Oh, I'm using AI. I'm using AI," and it's always very interesting to dig down into how it's actually being used to modernize the sector.
See, in our segment in downstream supply chain, normally to receiving the drawing and to do estimation is taking long time, and it take days or weeks to have the estimation. But with the new software that our team is developing is they're receiving the shop drawing on the software and instantly giving the price.
Instantly.
Yes, and on the each shop drawing, the customer can choose his production time and then send his material for the production. So these we initially doing with some factor, but gradually AI will need to be applied to understand more on the technical, on the bending parts, on all details part, which it's happened for a smaller scale in other services, but what we do in Metal Park, we cover in all our services with the same method.
Does it feel quite exciting? Does it feel like you're at a sort of cusp of something new and sudden, or do you feel it'll be a gradual development?
Initial step is new, and then this has a further features that we're gradually developing on that. We need the market to be ready for that part, then we can go to the next steps. And then by having those experience, we definitely improve that quality of that software.
And is there a genuine feel here in the Middle East and specifically in the UAE that we're ahead of the curve with that? Because I know there's lots of headlines about how the UAE is embracing artificial intelligence, and I know that for every single sector they're appointing an AI leader. But does that actually translate to a sort of market sort of lead ultimately?
As you know better than me, that's many of infrastructure already moving to that directions. And the simple things you can apply on the app, and you can get it done. I think the community get used to this environment, and they're expecting to see this in other segments. Let's say in our industry and other industries as well.
You mentioned there how supportive the UAE's leadership has been in adopting AI, but I know that before that there were so many measures they introduced in order to support your sector. Are there any sort of particular efforts they made that really made a difference?
What you have seen, despite of the idea behind, let's say we are based in Abu Dhabi. People think that Abu Dhabi a bit taking time to decide or taking times to process. But what we have seen and what we have experienced, we really see the support from the authorities, and the way that they are listening, the way that they are applying the things is quite fascinating. So we are really see those support, and this happened in line with their vision for this 300 BN, where operational 300 BN. What we really see that they want to be happen. In the next 5 years, is it going to be lots of big change?
Yeah, there is that sense of real growth, particularly coming out of Abu Dhabi.
Yes.
They are on a mission.
Yes.
They really are.
On a mission.
And of course, in order to achieve this strategic growth and sort of, best the competition ultimately, you're going to need the talent. And I know that that's one of the hardest things in many industries, is to bring through talented individuals, talented graduates. Is that something that the sector still struggles with?
Yeah, that is there, in every industry is there. But the good thing is that we have a good team for the time being. And also, the Metal Park model is based on collaboration and partnership with the other industries. So we are not necessary to be in all the corner of the Metal Parks. All the services running in the Metal Park has a legal entity, separate ownership, separate teams, which is taking care of that. Which those have already experienced locally or internationally. just start putting hands to our hands and providing those services to the market.
I guess by coming together, you might have a stronger message for talent. You might be able to come in and say, would you ever have a scenario where they would try to do an apprenticeship maybe in each different company?
See, our model designed for the companies which wants to start up the business here, or for the individual they want to start up, or for those who is already having business but they are not efficient in their current situations. But back to the first one, we are open for the startups, we are open for the individuals where they don't want to invest heavily on the capex or they are not capable to do that. So those talent are welcome always. And also we have the EDB support, Emirates Development Bank, to support those startups to bring their idea and know-how up.
Is it a lot harder, do you think, to be a startup in the metals sector because there is such a requirement for capex?
Metal industry is a kind of a heavy industry.
Yeah.
But I think we solve some part of this issue in Metal Park, which is initial investment in capex that you need to put to bring the setup up, and the time that the people need to bring that setup up. I think the only things pending is the working capital that those talent need to have it, where the banks, local banks, intend to support, and also we also receive some more interest from the foreign entities to do that.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That is, that's quite exciting, I imagine, for startups to have, foreign entities already interested in potentially investing. I'd like to take it personal now, because when everyone has sort of reached a certain level in their career, I always feel it's a good moment for them to sort of look back and think, have there been particular mentors or have there been particular people who've inspired you on your journey? Is there a podcast that you listen to all the time? Because I know that lots of people listening now, will seek inspiration from your own success.
I'm a bit traditional on this because my main mentor is my father, which is always opening my hands to do the new challenges. But I have another two coach, which is also leading me in the life and also in the business to look at differently to the business and to the life. Yeah.
How did you find that second coach? Because that's the hardest thing, I think. People find it difficult to know who to turn to.
I think I was lucky to have that coach. Yeah.
It's definitely worth looking out for somebody along those lines, would you say?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, finding the good mentors always good motivations to grow and to set your life cycle and goal. Yeah.
You've talked a lot about collaboration in this interview, and obviously it's the very basis of Metal Park. Could you sort of expand on the role that those partnerships have played in Metal Park's success, and then, equally how they're driving growth in the region?
What we try to do in Metal Parks, and those so far the partners is applying, is traditionally those services we now we are providing in Metal Park. Traditionally was in-house, and the people using those services for their own use. Now we are agreeing with our partners to provide this service to the different people, so they put their know-how, they put their equipments to deliver those the in-house requirement as a service to the others. This collaboration led that those having the in-house equipment or in-house processing doesn't need to invest heavily, and also they can get the quality services from a third party. The one which is providing the service from the other side is going for full productivity, and instead of doing for own, he's doing for several people. So then finally his production will be more productive and more efficient. So with this, everybody getting benefit. We believe on the concept of everybody winning out of this business model and this infrastructure. I really
like this business model. I think it sounds it really chimes with, oddly enough, the theme of this year's show here at Fastmarkets Middle East, because We have this slogan, which is transform tomorrow together. And I have to admit, this is a question that we're asking everyone who comes through the Live Lounge. We're exploring essentially the future of the industry. How do you envisage that slogan within your industry? How do you envisage the long-term evolution of the metal industry?
I believe that people has to go back again to collaborations. What we experience as a old system of, I presented also as a bazaar, where the people working together under one roof and are supporting each other. And I believe during our times, we see that the people get out of that environment a little bit, and they're always looking for their own profit and their own resources. But in this new, changes, with more transparency and more clear pictures, people has to work together and collaborate together. And I think the transparency is very, clear path for our industry as well in going forward.
Really interesting to speak to you, Vahid. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. I'm sure all of our Live Lounge listeners have really enjoyed the interview. And if you're listening at home later, then please do make sure you subscribe to all of our podcasts. So you can check it out on Apple, Amazon, YouTube, or of course Podbean, or wherever you get your podcasts. And to learn more about our upcoming events in the steel and commodities industries, please visit the Metals Events section at fastmarkets.com.